It's like I have to reset it up. My monitors were they weren't organized. I thought I had a DHCP reservation. It wasn't there. Like, what happened to my computer system? I go away for a couple of weeks and just everything goes to crap.
Well, yeah, and what was funny just a moment ago, I go, you know what? I'm gonna use my Mac Mini because it's over here. It's got plenty of ports for everything.
Yep.
And I fired it up, and I went, oh wait, I don't have one password set up here at all because I've been
Yeah.
working on it on my MacBook Air. And I was like, oh, so I got to do that later.
All right. Let me bring up the show notes. Get us started. 767, March 19th, blah, blah, blah. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, I didn't socialize it yet. Hold on.
Let's do it.
Hopefully Facebook won't make me log in. There we go. Sorry, picture of Rhea photobombing one of her students. Made me laugh. Let's see. Technorama podcast. There we are. Share and share alike.
I even got some really cool little lights in the background.
I see that. Going for that whole YouTuber thing.
Yeah, it does kind of not too bad. They're okay. They're not as bright as I thought they were hoping they would be.
They're bright. They just there. You got to get like the right color depth to them.
Yeah.
That's the issue that I have too. These are only at like 10% to make this wall green because if it gets too bright, then the camera auto adjusts and goes, well, that's a bright background. I need to make you darker.
Yeah. They're okay. They're facing the corner, and the corner has got it's white, from the
What's this? 100%.
Yeah.
Now watch what the camera does. It slowly compensates.
Hey, I could do this. There you go. Too much?
Your face is kind of washed out right now.
No, I'm just that white.
Can you dim that a bit?
Yeah. Wrong one.
Yeah, okay. Probably not the best idea with a black shirt. You look like a floating head.
Yeah. I can tell.
All right. Let me get back to the soundboard control. And here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Technorama episode 767. Boeing, Boeing, Boeing. Hello and welcome to Technorama, the podcast that brings you on an adventure like you've never been before.
Yeah.
No, we take a lighthearted look at tech, science, sci-fi, and all things geek. You see, I take a few days off and I can't even remember what the tagline is anymore.
What's your name?
Trainee.
Let's start there. What's your name, sir?
It says on my shirt, Trainee. I'm Chuck Tomasi. And with me, as always, is Craig Stepp. How are you, Craig?
I'm doing good. I'm in my office finally.
He's in the shed. The shed is decorated. He's got the background stuff going. If you're not watching the video, he's looking like a real YouTuber finally.
Yeah, that's my career path. No, it really feels good to be in here finally after all these years. It feels like.
Well, you were in there for a while. Just was like short-lived.
Yeah. I would mention this earlier, but if you go listen to the Topic is Trek, last week I didn't have my stuff in here, and so when you listen to it, it literally sounds like I've got a reverb effect on my voice.
Craig!
Yeah.
Come out of the shed.
I was listening to it in the car and I went, wow, that really does sound like I got a reverb on my voice. It was terrible. So hopefully
you may still want to put like some sound foam or something on the ceiling. Do you have carpet in there?
No, I'm gonna put a rug down later.
That'll
you can't really see, but there's some boxes there. I'm still working through some of my stuff, finding a home for it. And I can lay a rug down after that.
Yep. All right. Should we get into our question of the week?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's play that lovely music.
Letters, oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Mailman, mailman, mail today. Reach right in and pull one out. Those letters, I love those letters. Let's find out what you got to say.
Oh boy!
Mailman, mail today.
Let's find out what you've got to say. Our
Yeah.
question of the week is, what fictional character would you want to have a drink with?
Okay.
And Gary Lindros writes in Vasquez from Aliens, McCoy, and Alex from Last Starfighter.
Okay. Yeah.
Couple of thumbs up on that one.
Hey, Steve London said the dynamic duo Craig and Chuck.
Fictional characters. That's what we've become.
Well, we can arrange that actually.
I thought I had a drink. No, we met him at the conference a couple times, but anyway, Weber Baker says Lieutenant Commander Montgomery Scott, as long as it's green.
Green. Yeah, we had that joke on the ship, I think. A couple times. And Mike Robinson says, oh, I got to do Seymour. With the understanding that having a drink will involve certain safeguards against physical and mental disparities, Thor, a celestial. Okay.
Wow.
That'd be a big drink. Ghost Rider, David Lister from Red Dwarf, Red Green, Trisha Marie McMillan.
Keep your
From
stick
Hitchhiker.
on the ice.
Yeah, I would go have a drink with Trisha. Yeah, hey, baby. And Bridge Keeper. The Bridge Keeper from Holy Grail. excuse
I
me.
thought of Holy Grail.
Yeah.
What is your favorite cocktail?
He would just keep asking trivia questions, you know. I don't know. But anyway.
What is the ratio of tequila in a margarita?
What is the APV of this drink?
How many IBUs are in an IPA?
Yeah.
All right, that went in a whole different direction. Lone Guy's Nice says Zaphod, Beeblebrox, or Ford Prefect, because those guys know how to party.
Zaphod keep trying to slide you the galactic
And
mind
Galactic
blank.
Gargle Blaster.
Yes, thank you. My mind went blank.
Or you'd have to buy him 2 drinks.
I know. Yeah. He's only got one stomach, I think.
He says, I've got this round. And then there's only one head, and then 2 heads come up. You've got the next round.
Yeah. Fritz Ulrich Seward says, excuse me, Roy Batty from Blade Runner. That could be interesting.
Stephen Weshy says either the Doctor or Jean-Luc Picard.
Well, you know, with Jean-Luc, it would just be tea, right?
No, he'd bring some of his homemade wine.
Oh, true. That's true. Okay. Lisa Soares says Genie from Aladdin, but I have to rub the lamp to wake him up first. I got to do Seymour here. I polled my team at work and I heard Kazuma Kira from
It was a series or Homer Simpson. Beer.
Mm.
All right. Did we have any that
Hey,
we
wait a minute, John-
missed? Yeah.
John Kratzer says MacGyver, just to see what he can engineer with some duct tape and a paperclip.
That's why you're having a drink?
Yeah. It's to win some bar games. Yeah.
All right. That looks like it. We didn't have any on the shares. I apologize.
Oh.
I did not get my share out there in time. But thank you for that. We'll have another question for you at the end of the show. But we have more. We have more listener feedback. We've got some voicemail.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
Sure.
it's Crazy Joe. How you doing? Craig was talking about Harrison had never seen Tommy Boy. Was saying what other classic comedies from the 80s and 90s should he see if he hasn't seen them? Well, I'm going to go with a movie that in my book is the funniest movie of all time. And I will die on that hill. I think it's the funniest movie of all time.
All right, do tell.
Which you may or may not have seen. I don't know. 1980s Airplane.
Oh, of course.
There is a funnier movie ever made than Airplane. And
No.
I recently showed Jackie, And that's my pick. If he hasn't seen Airplane, he's got to see Airplane. All right.
I think I had.
You're going to tell me
Wait.
he hasn't seen Airplane, and I'm going to say, surely you can't be serious. No,
Don't call me Shirley.
So you can fill in the rest. All right.
I think I asked him about that, and he said he had. I'll check in with him again and make sure. But there is a funnier movie than Airplane.
Oh,
Airplane 2.
no.
No.
Not going there.
Yeah.
Not going there.
All right. This is Crazy Joe. You were asking for holiday traditions that could be improved with today's technology, or new traditions that we could do with today's technology. All right. How about an AI snowman? An AI snowman. Now, hear me out.
Okay.
You know how they have these projectors that can project like lights and pictures and images
Yes.
up on the buildings, and some
Yeah.
people don't want to put out Christmas lights, so they'll just get this projector and it'll project like candy canes on their house.
And they
stuff
get
like that.
stolen.
Okay, so your kid builds a snowman, but instead of putting 2 eyes of coal and a carrot nose, you get one of these projectors and it projects a face on the snowman. And through AI, the snowman can converse with your children. He could talk to them. He could answer their questions because it's very intelligent. It's got AI behind it. And then when the snowman melts, the kids are horrified into a coma. What do you think? All right. Bye.
I thought the kids could converse with it and be going, do you know your dad just lost his job yesterday? Has he told you that?
That's not really your dad. Your dad's not who you think he is.
It's giving up all this information because it's AI. It can make up whatever it wants, and
Yeah.
it can access whatever it wants too.
You're adopted, son.
But you're an evil snowman, and you have 6 fingers.
Yeah, they'll just break out the blowtorch, and actually, that's not a bad idea. I could see where you could do that. The eyes would move and stuff on the snowman. That'd be cool.
All right, we have one more from Joe. Hang on.
Hey, it's Crazy Joe. You guys were talking about what it would be like if we lived 1,000 years, 1,000-year lifespan. Would you want to live that long? And a thought occurred to me, and that is memory. You know, I'm 49, and I have trouble remembering certain things that happened in the 80s and 90s. You know, the memories get fuzzier over time. And I'm thinking, if I hit 1,000, even if the human body was capable of sustaining you that long, would the human brain be equipped to carry 1,000 years worth of memories? Because it seems to me that even if you lived that long, you would probably forget over half of your life. And then if you don't even remember it, what would I don't want to say it would be pointless living it.
What's the quality
Not
of life?
pointless.
Yeah.
But it would be kind of less meaningful to you if you had hundreds of years worth of life that you lived that is just not in your head anymore. It's like, well, I can remember the last 200 years, but I'm 800 years old. But you've lost more than half your life in memory. Now, I don't know. Nobody's lived that long. Maybe the human brain is capable of holding that guy. What do you guys think? I don't know. That was my thought. All right.
Great topic. Go ahead, Craig.
Well, I don't know if you'd forget everything. I imagine there's milestones and stuff. You got pictures, and you could write journals and stuff to kind of remember things as well. So I don't know, but I was just, as he was speaking, I pulled up how much data can be stored in a human brain.
Oh boy.
And it's a roughly 2.5 million gigabytes. So I guess some stuff would get purged over time, but
You'd remember the stuff that has the strongest emotional attachment.
Mhm.
That's the way our brains work, and by association, then you'd have that random stuff that just pops up, like that girl's name from second grade that you haven't seen since second grade. Going, where did that come from? You know,
I
the brain
know.
works in really weird ways.
Yeah.
So the associations, I agree. Journaling would be ultimately important. Although some of your journal entries might be interesting. Going, I don't remember this. Can somebody remember something for 1,000 years? Yes. My wife would remember that one time I forgot to put the dryer sheet in.
Remember when he didn't put the seat down in the toilet?
That was 970 years ago.
Let it go.
Let it go.
It's not
And
a
it
trend.
hasn't happened since.
It's not a trend.
We don't even have toilet seats anymore.
We just got those 3 shells.
Thank you for taking that. I have set that up for you.
Well, another as you kind of mentioned, I think over time the things that have a strong emotional attachments for you,
Yep.
would be important to remember, and then you would just forget all the other stuff, you know. So I don't. When you live 1,000 years, do you need to remember what happened in 1980? Probably
I can't
not.
remember what I had for dinner last
They
week.
won't be having that 80s cruise anymore. Yeah, about then.
They will.
So-
It'll just be a different century's 80s.
Well,
the
yeah.
21 80s, then the 22 80s, then the 23 80s.
It's the 30 80s.
It's a hologram of Christopher Cross.
Yeah. That's funny. No,
All right.
so I don't know if you need to remember everything anyway. So
No, the important stuff. All right. Thank you, Joe. And thank you for everybody who responded to our question of the week. We have another one for you at the end of the show. Yes. And your brain naturally goes to this music because that's the next track on the album.
yeah,
I'm going to have vinyl in 1,000 years.
there you go.
On this day in history for March 19th, 2025, it's the 78th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar. There are 287. Wow, 78, 287, 78, 287. That's a palindrome. See that?
Not exactly.
Yeah, well, it is.
You put a 2 in there.
78287. Take that. It was on this date in 1687 that explorer Robert Cavalier de Sales, searching for the mouth of the Mississippi River, was murdered by his own men.
Wow. We found it.
Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
We haven't found it yet. Kill the captain.
It was also this date in 1824 that American explorer Benjamin Morrill departed Antarctica after a voyage later plagued by claims of fraud. Wow.
He was embezzling the scotch.
Yeah.
It was 194 years ago today that the first documented bank heist was committed in the U.S. when burglars stole $245,000 in 1831 money from the Citibank, which is now known as Citibank,
Yeah.
on Wall Street. Most of the money was recovered.
107 years ago today, the U.S. Congress established time zones and approved daylight savings time.
Saving. Don't be
Savings.
that guy that says savings.
Whatever.
So
Saving.
107 years later, we're still regretting it.
Yeah.
I got to do this podcast at 5:30 instead of 6:30.
Actually, I'm surprised 107 years ago didn't sound that very long ago to establish time zones in general.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it should have been earlier because it was the
Yeah.
trains that were all messed up.
Right. I'm just saying it seems like it should have been a long time before, but yeah.
Few decades, but
Mhm.
you know how fast Congress gets things done.
Yeah.
On
Right.
March 19th, 1932, the Sydney Harbor Bridge was open. I've been there. I climbed that. I got pictures.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. 56 years ago today, the 385 Metri tall, which is 1,263 feet, TV mast at the Emily Moore transmitting station, United Kingdom, collapsed due to an ice buildup.
We're just full of happy news today.
I know.
Also on March 19th, 1979, the United States House of Representatives began broadcasting its day-to-day business via the cable television network C-SPAN. Riveting stuff, I tell
Yeah.
you.
And it was also on this date in 2008 that GRB 080319b, a cosmic burst that was the furthest object visible to the naked eye, was briefly observed.
Ah, good old
Hey.
GRB08
I don't remember observing it. Do you?
It observed you.
Oh, that's what it meant. Oh, okay.
Happy birthday goes out of the state to Scottish missionary and explorer David Livingstone, I presume. He was born on this date in 1813.
And Wyatt Earp, American police officer, was born on that same date in 1848.
Born March 19th, 1883, English chemist and academic Nobel Prize laureate Norman Haworth.
Canadian-American mathematician and theorist Leonidas Algalou was born on that date in 1914.
Peter Hall, the English geographer, author, and academic, was born on the same date in 1932.
And born March 19th, 1943, Mexican chemist and academic, Nobel Prize laureate Mario J. Molina.
Also born on the same date in 1955, German-American actor and producer Bruce Willis. I forgot bartender.
Bartender, there you go. And last but not least, American actor Connor Trinneer from Enterprise was born on the same date in 1969. What a great year.
You're older than Trip.
I guess I am. Yeah.
Should have said happy birthday to him on the cruise. Darn, missed it.
Yeah.
Next time.
I'll do it next time.
Listener birthdays this week go out to March 19th. We have Michael R. Menengay. I don't know if he still listens to the show, but I'll send him a happy birthday message, and I encourage you to do the same. 2 days later, the man who called 3 times while we were out,
Yeah.
Crazy Joe Fiore. Steve Rickyberg is on the 23rd, as is Richard Parkman. And finally on the 25th is Nicholas St. Gabriel. Happy birthday to all of you. If it's your birthday this week and you're not on our birthday calendar, well, sorry we missed you. And we wish you all the best. Have a great week. Have a great year. And do yourself a favor. You go over to chuckchat.com. You can take the contact info down and put the banner up now.
Oh, sorry. I'm not looking at the screen. So my bad.
You got one job, Step. You got one job. You go over to the birthday calendar, you put your name on there. We'll give you a shout out at the appropriate time of year. And we wish you all the best. That's how it goes. chuckchat.com/birthday. And join the mega people that have done that. That's the way it was on this day in history for March 19th, 2025. I think the band is done. Goodbye, band. Yeah. Oh, wait. We're coming up to the crescendo. Here we go. I just want to listen to the end. Dun, 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 dun. Big finish! That guy works hard on his trumpeting skills.
Hey, we don't have the budget to run this podcast for another hour.
We're fine. We're making up for the last couple weeks. And we were talking over it while someone said, I was trying to record that to cassette. Why do the DJs always talk over my song?
I know. Yeah. Here's my chance to record it. Oh, they're talking.
I'm making a mixtape. Shut up, DJ.
I have done that before. Have you done that? Have that happened?
Everybody from our generation has done that.
I was like, I'm like, shut up. He's talking over the intro. Actually, when I worked at the radio station, I noticed that on the carts that had the songs, they had a time.
Yeah, you had 13
tape,
seconds or 48
yeah, so you know
seconds.
the intro was 13 or 20 seconds or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah,
I suspect, much like us, they just learned it by instinct after a while because you play the same songs.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, even I did that because you know the songs and you go, okay, I got, just in your head. You don't even have to think about the time.
Playing the biggest hits on KBBL on the Valley's 101.7.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into the news, shall we?
Yeah.
Good news, everyone.
Well, interesting news, if not good news. We scientists, as you probably were aware, are messing around with genetics and DNA and doing some splicing. And there's talk about bringing back the woolly mammoth. The challenge is that if you take the DNA and put that into like an elephant embryo, you have to wait like 23 months for that elephant to gestate. And then about another 10 years before it's grown up viable enough to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do it all over. So to shorten this cycle, they needed to practice on some animals that had close enough genome and then try a few things out in a shorter cycle. What would that be? That would be mice.
But poor mouse.
So what they came up with is the
Yes.
woolly mouse. Let me show you
The-
this picture.
yeah.
There. It's actually more golden than brown. We usually think of woolly mammoths as like brownish gray. Nope.
Yeah.
They're much more golden. This thing is, if you're not watching the visual, it looks like if you took a baby chick, nice and fluffy and golden.
No, this is the behind the scenes at Star Trek. I use these mice as tribbles.
What they don't tell you is these mice are 10 feet tall.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Roar!
There's a scientist in the picture for scale, but it's like under the foot of the thing.
There are scientists saying, yes, we should do this because by reintroducing them into the northern climates, it will help, could potentially help with climate change and the ecosystems there. Others are saying, we don't know what it will do because their predators are gone. There are no more smilodons.
How is that going to help with climate change, making more animals?
Because they could be eating things that are no longer being eaten. They could be stomping out the underbrush where they could be fertilizing with their poop. There's a lot of things that is missing when you take. But I'm saying if you reintroduce an animal, you're going to have to also introduce the rest of their ecosystem, like the predators. And I, for one, do not welcome saber-toothed cats.
No, I think I honestly, I kind of like the idea of them bringing them back, but at the same time, I don't see the value in it. I just don't do it. I mean,
well, we also don't know the personality traits of what this will do.
Yeah. All right. Do you?
There's
remember
a
that movie,
film waiting to happen when mammoths go crazy.
Remember that movie, The Gods Must Be Crazy, and the rhino would come and stomp out the fire and run out. Maybe it does those things, and you want that roaming around our national parks. People are camping.
Keep selling those gold fluffy mice. I think you got a winner there.
I think they're playing with fire. I'll be honest with you.
Yes. Just because we can do a thing doesn't mean we must do a thing.
Good thing we don't have other things on our plate like solving cancer,
or Alzheimer's, or
yeah, you name it.
Recent survey says more people are afraid of Alzheimer's than they are of cancer. That's pretty frightening.
Yeah, well.
Okay. In other space news, because we weren't talking about space before, worst segue ever.
Yeah, right.
This is now the clumsy segue podcast. Saturn is the champion of the number of moons. Now,
yeah, this blew me away.
This is crazy, and they explain why. You think Jupiter is bigger, it's got more gravity, it could capture more moons, and that's kind of the way I always thought about it. But for the last 20 or so years, Saturn's been in the lead by, looking at this chart, maybe about 30 or 40 moons. And in the last couple of years, they took the Canadian,
Canadian France Hawaii telescope.
Yeah, the telescope that's on top of Mauna Kea, that's run by Canada and France, and they tuned it to do some very difficult viewing research on Saturn. They said, we're done with that now, but here's what we learned. They found another 128 moons. The thing's up to 274.
That is crazy.
That's almost twice as all the other moons in the solar system, the other planets' moons combined. So 274. And they said the reason for this is because in the not so distant past, a lot of these are irregulars, just like a couple of kilometers in size. And they believe it's just smashed up remnants of another moon or two that ran into each other.
Oh, I see.
If Ganymede and Europa crashed into each other, you'd have this ginormous debris field. You go, there, Jupiter, you won by 1 million.
You got 12 more.
12? You'd have like 12 million more with all the parts. But that's the theory. And they said, based on what we learned, we don't see Jupiter overtaking that unless, something comes crashing in and rips apart and gets stuck in orbit. So That was fun. A little bit of space news.
What's the definition of a moon, actually?
It's basically anything that is orbiting the planet.
I mean, planets are pretty well defined, and it has
Obviously,
to
the Earth
have a atmosphere.
man-made
On it.
satellites don't count, but
Mhm.
I mean, you look at Phobos and Deimos on Mars. They're basically chunks of rock. It doesn't have to be round. It doesn't have to be big. It's just a chunk of, and a captured asteroid will become a moon if it starts orbiting the planet in a stable orbit. So,
See, a natural satellite, that means it's a natural occurring object that orbits a planet, dwarf planet, or sometimes even an asteroid. So asteroids
Mhm.
can have a moons.
even a moon could have a moon. Titan is so big, it could have a moon.
Mhm.
There are asteroids in the asteroid belt that have little
Like those little
asteroids.
Russian dolls, that collapsible dolls.
Right.
That's pretty interesting, though. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. 120. What'd you say? 128? Yeah, that's
They found
amazing.
128 more to bring the total up to 274.
It did. The number surprised me, but not. I think Saturn is more believable because it's got already has the ring. It must have a ginormous gravity field, to pull those kind of things in.
Well, they're saying the ring may have been a destroyed moon at one point.
What's all? So count them all.
Yeah, count them all. You win.
Yeah.
I mean, Jupiter has rings too. They're just fainter.
Yeah, and so does Neptune, I think. And Neptune have rings.
So they said now the news article that I was watching said Saturn is still Lord of the Rings, and also Master of the Moons.
Lord of the Rings.
I'm going to write a new book, Master of the Moons.
Yeah.
Okay. On from space to more space.
Hmm.
Ill-fated lunar lander. So remember last month when we sent
Wait, you
up,
skipped a story.
I did.
Yeah, we'll go back to it. The camera, but
Oh,
That's
world's
right.
largest camera. Yes, we'll get that. Okay.
okay.
So much news, so little time.
I know.
The last month we sent up the Athena lander and it crashed. It altimeter failed on the way down, so it didn't know how far above the surface it was and went crash. But before it went out, it sent one final message. And it went, Mother.
Hmm.
Well, almost exactly that. The last message is sent, and I don't know who the software developers were, but kudos to them because the last message is sent was the names of all of the people on the project.
Wow.
Kind of like the original Macintoshes where they had the names of the
Yeah.
people on the inside of the case.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
This is what it said. It tipped over and the solar panels weren't pointing in the right direction. There was dust all over them. They said, well, that's pretty much scrapped.
Yeah.
But it did send one last message with a bunch of names.
I like the picture it sent of itself, also after it crashed, but its legs are up in the air.
Roadkill.
Poor thing. It died before it got a chance to live.
All right, let's go back to that other article about the world's largest camera.
Yeah.
3,200 megapixels. Now you think
Wow.
about it. What is it? The Nikon P90 maximum something or other is 100 megapixels. So this is 32 times bigger than the largest consumer camera. What they're
Will it-
going to do, they've
Will it mount
outfitted
to my camera body?
Yeah. Does that come with a Nikon mount or a Canon
Hey,
mount? Can I
it
get
narrows
these
down
also?
it narrows down all the way to a little mount for a camera to go on.
You see the guy at the football game on the sidelines with this thing.
Yeah,
Hey, your lens is on the field.
right. Yeah.
You're gonna have to sit in the balcony because your lens is too big. Why do you even need a lens? It's right in the people's face. No, they mounted this in the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, installing the LSST, which stands for the Legacy Synoptic Survey Telescope. Although I've heard other things, the Legacy something space and time it also came up in some of the articles. I don't know who's driving the initialism here, but the idea is that they're going to point this at the southern sky over the course of 10 years and basically make a movie. See what happens.
See what happens. Wow.
They've been talking about building this thing for 20 years, and now it's finally built.
How much did it cost? I don't think I remember seeing that. In
Didn't see a price on here. If you have to ask,
the...
you can't afford it.
Well, what I think is interesting about this camera is how it resembles a camera lens like you would put on a
It kind of
DSLR.
does.
Yeah. Even down at the bottom, there's a thumbnail for a YouTube video, and you can see it looks like it has the screw where you could put like a hood on it or something. Yeah, it looks like a really regular camera lens. It's pretty cool. I bet it is pricey.
Yeah. Since there's only one of them and it took a lot of special electronics and engineering to make it, of course.
Yeah.
All right, we have one more in the news. Could have put it in the geek library, but this one Craig sent to me as a text. Can
Right.
you fool a self-driving car?
This is an interesting video.
It was like 2 videos in one.
Yes, it was.
But
agree.
the main thrust of it is around LiDAR, which like radar uses radio waves and LiDAR uses light waves. He did 2 things. Mission 1 was what he said, ever since I was a kid and rode Space Mountain, I always wanted to see what it looked like with the lights on.
Mhm.
But so there's a fun story about him sneaking into Disneyland with a portable LiDAR on his chest. How he didn't get caught, I don't know.
Yeah, it was very.
It,
Yeah, it was probably a little bit of luck. It looked like.
he's wearing a mask and a hat and a big jacket that has this bulge on his chest.
Yeah.
Is that an arc reactor?
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So, but he went through Magic Mountain with this strapped to his chest, and one, it was interesting to see how much ultraviolet light it would shoot out.
Yeah.
As it was working, but seeing the model that they built
Yeah,
afterwards.
he rips open his jacket as the ride gets started, and this thing is just spinning around and around and around. They get back and feed it into the computer, and then from the computer they put it into a 3D printer and printed a model, like a tabletop size model of the roller coaster.
Yeah.
And it's a little anticlimactic when you see it, but it's like that's pretty cool.
Oh, it was fascinating to see. But what was also interesting about the whole thing, which is the first part where they talked about LiDAR, was that how inefficient that Tesla was at maintaining a lock on objects when
Yeah.
things like I think water was a big problem.
Fog.
Fog, yeah, was another one.
So
Yeah.
the Tesla is using cameras, like imaging cameras, to see the environment, whereas he had another vehicle that had LiDAR on it. So he did 6 different tests, road tests, where, will it stop for a small child? They had a mannequin of a small child. And
they didn't put a real
vehicles
one in
stopped.
harm's way.
Then they had child runs out from behind a vehicle at the last second. Vehicles stopped. Great. How about if there's a really heavy rainstorm? And the LiDAR was trying to see through the raindrops, but did stop at the last second, and the Tesla just blasted through this kid.
Yeah.
And
It was disturbing.
it was funny, but not funny watching
Yeah.
it like Mythbusters, where you watch Buster get all beat up.
Yeah, exactly.
This little kid with his hat on. Then the final test was the Roadrunner test, where they had a picture of the road
Hmm.
that looked like it went off into infinity. And he said, our human brains will pick up the discontinuity of the image with the real sky and whatnot. And if you move a little bit, the road changes angles.
Yeah, a little
But
parallax.
we
going
wanted
on.
to see if this worked. And of course, LiDAR doesn't see the image of the road. It sees an object. The light is bouncing off of it and going, there's a solid wall there, and it stopped. they then took the Tesla and they had the little mannequin behind the wall. So here's little
Yeah.
Johnny staring at a wall, not realizing his life is about to end, and boom, Tesla goes right there. Now the wall was not brick; it was made out of styrofoam, so the car did not get damaged.
No, yeah, they couldn't just blast through a brick wall.
Because I thought as many times as they hit that kid, there's got to be some dents in the car. But it was very telling that why don't they outfit Teslas with LiDAR instead?
That was what they were going to use originally, and then I think
Too expensive?
Elon decided that was not the way to go. And
Well, this kind
I
of made
wonder-
a fool of them. And to be honest,
wait,
they
don't-
haven't innovated those cars much in the last 10 years, and that's a long time for a car manufacturer.
mhm.
It's basically if you buy a 2025, you're not much different than the 2020, the 2015 car.
Yeah. By the way, related, here's Clinton says for over a year, Disneyland had a model of the track inside Space Mountain in the Opera House on Main Street.
Oh, interesting. Oh, he also took his lidar unit into the Haunted Mansion and went underground and mapped all that stuff out. So as you're riding around in the dark, he said you can see the sheer curtains that they use to project the ghosts.
Yeah.
And they basically take you down the elevator and then underground into a whole nother building for the ride. And he said that it was a tip of the hat to the Imagineers, who are really good at hiding these other buildings behind scenery. When you're
Mhm.
walking around the park, one minute you're listening to banjos and whatnot, you turn the corner and it's Star Wars. Go, how did I not see that tower from over there? Oh, there's these trees or hills or ride in the way
Yeah.
that you don't see these things. Or when you go into what's the Cartoon Land section, and you have
Toontown?
Toontown, yes. They really do a good job of immersing you in that environment and
Mhm.
knocking out whatever else is next door. Because you think, how do you? The sound system is so robust. Like when you're in Star Wars Land and you hear shuttles going by,
Oh yeah.
how do I not hear that from next door? Well, it's all very localized, and subwoofers are amazing.
Hey, well, we heard some loud sounds at the Star Trek experience, and that was a while back. Remember, we were in there with the shuttle under the parallax screen,
Yep.
and the subwoofers would kick on and with some music, and it was
Oh, Clinton's also commenting on the video. He said, "I noticed the billboard smashed with the deliberate cut marks to mimic a cartoon effect." Yes, it had like that burst bubble where something's new and improved. It had
Yeah.
that kind of look to it.
That's
which I thought
awesome.
that was a nice effect.
Yeah.
Mom, Saturn's hogging all the moons. All right, that takes care of it for the news. What do you say we give our people a shout out in the chat room? I don't have a sound effect for this, but if you're joining us Sunday nights at 8:30 Eastern time, we'd love to chat with you. We have Mike Robinson and Clinton Albert hanging out with us right now. Don't see anybody else, although there are some out there. So feel free to chat, jump in, say hi. Welcome to our new listeners. I met a number of people on the cruise and have even had some responses going, "Hey, that Technorama show, why are you wasting your time on that?"
Yeah.
Say,
Not
that's pretty
friends.
good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
As is the topic is Trek. So we welcome our new listeners to both of those shows. Thank you very much for
Oh,
conversing.
wait, did
with
you
us.
just say that they thought it was pretty good?
Yes.
Oh, maybe they were listening to the wrong show. Oh, okay.
I don't know what the QR code said. I just pointed them. It could have been the lunch menu at Denny's.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Into the Remember When. This is the part of the show where we go back in time. Sort of. All right. Enough of that music. The oldest face in Europe. We have an archaeological. Let me see if I can bring the picture up of that. I thought I had it on the screen. Telescope. Saturn. Oldest face. There it is. Bring it up on the screen. Go back to the sharing thing.
Hey, you said bring it up on the screen. It's just still our two faces, the oldest face.
No, the oldest face on the internet. No, this is an article from dailygalaxy.com from earlier this month. And the oldest face in Europe. They found some bone fragments from a species that they thought was. They originally found it. I have to go back and read the actual names, but it's like Homo arcalis was 1.2 million years ago. And they go, oh, well, that's when people arrived in Europe, or Western Europe, I should say. And they found this one, which is dated to around 1.4 million years ago. What we're looking at is the left upper jaw and cheek and part of the nose bridge. And they said, it's got a nose bridge that's more pronounced, kind of like Homo sapiens, but other traits in the alignment point to more archaic features. So it's an interesting mix, and it pushes the date of habitation in that area back about 200,000 years ago. Of course, there's all kinds of questions of What happened to these people? Was it climate? Was it competition? Was it they just moved on and that made space for the other people to move in?
Yeah.
So lots of unanswered questions, but pretty cool that they're still finding things and rewriting the records.
I wonder. I mean, I know these people are highly trained to find this kind of stuff, but look, those are pieces that they put together to make one. Can you imagine? I'd end up just walking over it. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have seen
Yeah,
that.
when you're digging around in that grayish reddish clay and you come across something like this, kind of hard to miss.
Yeah,
They know what they're looking for. And I find it even more amazing with this and like pottery, how they put it back together.
right. Well,
My next
super glue.
question is where's the rest?
Right. It's pulverized into the history.
The coyotes got it.
Yeah.
So neat stuff. Thanks for finding that one. I always like me a good science article.
Mhm.
Now we give a special shout out to our patrons. These are the people who make this show possible financially. Alexis Duran, Amber Elstad, Amy Bowen, Abner Braverman, Ben Vaughn, Brad Miller, Brian Brown, Chris Martinez, Chris MC. Now we get into the D's. Dan D-Man Coyer, Dean Jensen, and Denise Inglis. Moving on, Gary Lindros, our newest member, Jason Pollard, John Clifford, John Noble, Yorga Schrauen, Crazy Joe, man who called in earlier and has a birthday coming up, Kyle Nishioka, Leon, Mark Kilfoyle, Mike Wills, Saturday Morning Media, and into the Steven territory, the 5 Steves. Stephen Weshy, Steve Cody, Steve Therian, Steve Webb, and Steve London, and Tim Cook. Thank you, everybody, for your support for the show. If you want to be part of this cadre, you go over to patreon.com/Technorama Podcast. And for as little as $1 a show, you can contribute, keep this show going. If you donate more, you get more. You get postcards, and some levels have t-shirts, and you never know what else
Yes.
you get. So
Fame and fortune.
your name emblazoned across a podcast. Oh boy.
Way to sell it, Chuck.
Did you hear me, Mom? I was on Technorama.
Yeah.
I knew you'd be a failure.
Yeah. That's the best you're going to
I have no son.
do.
Told you stop wasting your money. All right, let's get the band out of here. Thank you, everybody, for that. Patreon.com/Technorama Podcast. It's on the bottom of the screen, too. You can see it there. Thank you, Craig.
Yep.
And let's move on to the part of the show where, we're going to make this quick. We're coming up near, it's the last thing we're doing anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Pass me the remote. There's the music. Craig and I talk about what we've been watching, what we've been reading, what we've been not doing. Read, watch,
Consuming.
listening to. That was the other one. Okay.
Oh,
So
listen.
let's move on. Aside from a bunch of YouTube videos that I've been watching on usual channels that I have, and the things that you send me, like how to drive a Tesla through a wall.
Right.
What have you been
Oh.
watching?
Well, Kim and I, my wife and I, we've been watching Shrinking season 2, which is on, I'm sorry, not Prime. It is on Apple Plus. And
Okay.
the first season is about Jimmy and his daughter. He's a therapist. He works in the therapist office, of course. And Harrison Ford is also a therapist. It's a while back, his wife was killed by a drunk driver. So it's them
Oh.
kind of dealing with that, but it's not a dark, dramedy. It's not drama, but it's lighthearted. So there's a lot of funny things that happen in it, and then there's some tender moments. And season 2 is more of the same. I've enjoyed it a lot. There's not much to say about it other than when you watch it, Harrison Ford plays this grumpy kind of therapist guy, and I'm thinking, I think we're seeing how Harrison Ford is in real life. I get the feeling, but it is a really good show. It's like I said, it's in some places lighthearted, other places they deal with some stuff a little bit, but it's not heavy in it. So I'm enjoying it. We got a few episodes left, I think, in this season.
Cool. All right, I'm going to move on to Daredevil: Born Again on Disney Plus.
Yes.
This picks up where the Netflix original series seasons left off, but it is a few years later. And Wilson Fisk, aka Kingpin, has been
Mhm.
elected mayor. I'm not going to give you away too much. I think all this is in the first episode anyway, and probably on the
Yeah.
trailers as well.
Yeah.
And Matt has said, nope, I'm not going to be a vigilante anymore. And we'll see how that works out for him.
For various reasons, yes.
But it is, yeah, there's a kind of a big shocker right in the first episode. I'm not going to give that away, but it's worth watching if you haven't seen it. It's as well produced and well written as the original stuff. You don't feel like you missed a beat because it went from Netflix to Disney Plus.
Right.
I'm enjoying it a lot. The only sad part is it's a weekly release. So I have to
I
wait
know.
Tuesday each week.
Yeah, I'm also watching it. I'm kind of waiting a little bit because I want to watch some episodes right in a row. But
Yep.
Harrison's away and he wants to watch it with me, so kind of stopped. I was like, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
What else you got?
Well, I started thinking Harrison's a gamer. My friend Fred's a gamer. I thought, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna play some games. So
Okay.
I thought I would throw that in here in the Passport Remote. And I started something I've been wanting to play for a while, but I haven't been able to because I didn't have a setup really engineered to do something to play a game. As I started playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, which is a brand new, came out last year, I think, game around Indiana Jones, of course. And I just started playing it, and the voice acting is great. The visuals are pretty good, are really well done, actually, I should say. And I love the beginning because there's I'm not sure of the whole story because I'm still playing it, but the beginning, the first segment was you're doing the whole scene from Raiders where he's walking with the gods and they go to the temple and they're getting the idol.
Mhm.
I do that whole thing. I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I really got into it. Having to do the whip and throw the idol to the guy, that whole thing. It was really cool. So I'm looking forward to continue playing that.
It's just like playing Pitfall.
Yes. I remember watching that little Pitfall Harry running around thinking, wow, he's just like Indiana Jones.
He's got a whip and he swings across things, and then the alligators get him.
I think I've mentioned this a long time ago. But with Pitfall, I really enjoyed Pitfall, but Activision had a thing where you could request, it was like a pamphlet, how they make Pitfall Harry run and jump. And I was like, okay, I want that. So you're looking at the graphics and how they did it. And really it's just a sprite. His legs just go back and
Mhm.
forth. And then there's one where he's jumping, and there's only a handful of versions of him doing things. And it's like, wow. Okay. So if I had two sprites on top of each other, turn one on and off, it would look like he was running. And I wrote some games doing that. It was kind of fun.
Another one that I just finished up was season 1 of Andor, also on Disney Plus.
Good. Yes.
Star Wars story. I found it moved a little slow in spots. Took a
Mhm.
while to sort of spin up. In fact, I found the first episode or two kind of confusing. I thought, I confused Andor with Endor, and I thought it was about the planet, and I realized, oh,
We're
and
gonna
then
watch a bunch of Ewoks
they
walking
keep
around.
having these scenes with the little boy on this other planet, and it took me a while to connect. Oh, this is his backstory, how he got off of his
From
home planet.
Yeah, from Rogue One. This is the same character that was in Star Wars Rogue One and
Yeah.
Andor, and this is his backstory. Yeah.
As it went on, it was I found it very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to where they left off. Season 2 is coming up starting in April. So it
Hey.
took a while to get into it, but I got into it.
It was I agree with you, it was a little slow in spots, but I think it did pay off. But setting that aside, visually it was stunning.
They really make you hate the Empire, don't they?
Oh yeah, you can see where I'll watch my words. But yeah, it really makes the Empire look bad. Really bad.
They're just yeah, I'll watch my words too, but not nice people.
Yeah, but it's a fun show. And like I said, just watching it blew my mind. There's no lightsabers or anything. It's just It's a bunch of blasters and just the environment looks fantastic.
No, but I had this sneaky suspicion that what was his name? Not Laren,
Lutheran.
Luthen. That's it. I had a sneaky suspicion that he's a Jedi, but he hasn't done anything yet. He had that walking stick that would collapse and it looked like it turned into a lightsaber handle, and he was carrying a kyber crystal. Like,
Yeah.
he's got hints that there's Jedi going on, and he just almost exudes that Obi-Wan vibe.
You know, one thing I really liked about his, not just his character, but his ship. It's like when you think he's about to get busted, also the ship just goes nuts and is doing all kinds of. He's got basically lightsabers coming out the wings. I was like, wow, that was amazing.
Or he what was it? He was being pulled in by a tractor beam, and he just shoots a whole bunch of stuff back at the tractor beam dish and destroys it.
Yeah.
And at least leaves the Empire guy on the bridge of that ship going, what just happened?
Yeah.
Or I am so in trouble for this.
Nobody's done this before. Yeah.
I don't want to explain this to the Emperor.
Yeah.
All right, third one I watched was
Palpatine's on line 1 for you.
I'm not home.
Yeah, I'm not here.
I'm in the bathroom. He told me to tell you he's not here.
Yeah. Oh, you watched something I've been I forgot to watch. I've been meaning to watch this one.
That reminds me of an old joke I found in Mad Magazine where it was one of these Al Jaffe cartoons or whatever it was, where the phone rings and the kid picks it up, and it's like Mrs. Johnson, and she says, "Hi, Timmy, is your mother home? Mom, it's Mrs. Johnson. Tell her I'm not here. I don't want to talk to that loudmouth windbag." And Timmy says, "She told me to tell you she's not here and you're a loudmouth windbag."
Oh.
Anyway,
classic Mad Magazine. Yeah.
Roll back about 50 years. Third one I watched was Wallace and Gromit: Vengeance Most Foul.
I've been wanting to watch that.
This is good. I mean, if you like Wallace and Gromit, that style animation, this is
I love it.
Well written, good story. He's struggling to make ends meet as an inventor, and his house is full of crazy inventions. And he stumbles across something. This is yet another tale about technology and artificial intelligence can possibly go wrong.
Okay.
So I'm just setting that out there as the main theme, but ultimately it has a happy ending.
Oh, thanks for the spoiler.
Here, you want another spoiler? His password is cheese.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
And it has our favorite penguin in there. So what was it? Feathers Mc. Oh, I can't remember his name now, but same one who's always causing trouble. I love that character. That, my friends, brings us to the end of the show where we have a question of the week for you. What seemingly mundane everyday task would be exponentially improved or hilariously worsened with the addition of a rogue AI assistant? And what would be its first helpful suggestion be?
Hey, AI, take the trash out.
Hey, AI, I need a haircut.
Bro. Oh, man. I know it's kind of a long question, but I thought it was funny.
All right. So we want you to think of, now I'm adding robotics in here too, because, rogue AI assistant would have to include robotics.
Yeah, it's got to do something. Yeah.
Okay.
Bring me a beer.
And watch this.
Yeah. Watch this.
That takes care of it for that show. Episode 767 is now history. But if you want to get in touch with us, you certainly are welcome to to do so.
Yeah, we dare you.
You can get a hold of us on the listener line at 707-530-2428. That's 707-530-CHAT 2428. See how that spells? We had to work hard to get that one. Had to work even harder to get the other one for the other podcast, but we'll share that if you listen to The Topic is Trek, where you can find us and Clinton, who was also hanging out with us,
Yes.
Send us an email if you don't want to do the voicemail thing like Crazy Joe did. I think he's got us on speed dial at this point, or he tells his AI assistant, call Technorama and leave something that sounds intelligent.
Yeah. Come
You
on,
can email
everybody.
us, technorama@chuckchat.com. We'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, we'll talk to you in about a week with some more fun news, adventures, stories, and things we'd love to share from the world of geeks. Till then, take care. Give us a binary high five, Craig.
All right. 101.
Done. Oh, I forgot to hit record. Just kidding.
Wouldn't be the first time.
No, probably not the last time. No, I did get that. 55 minutes and change.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Thank you for watching either live or on the stream later. Thanks for, well, I can't say thanks for listening because the people who are listening, I just turned off the recorder. They're not listening.
Thanks for listening or watching.
Thanks for joining us. Thank
Yeah.
you. Means a lot. And we will talk to you again real soon. Bye.
Bye.